Not going to be ready for any soccer this weekend.
Next time we'll video.
All right, you want to sit? That's my godson. I'm not even sure what's the first word you say, because you go through all these words of being grateful and gratitude and what it means to be thankful and what it means to be part of a community. And when I was first found out I was sick, I had already gotten the job at Avenues. I was hired a whole year before the school opened. First teacher hired, by the way. Flew back from Rome, got the job, went back to Rome, and years I wasn't feeling well. Misdiagnosis, IBS, years, right, Mom? 8 years. And all of a sudden it's like March, and I'm like, something's wrong. And my doctor's like, oh, you have hemorrhoids, you drive a motorcycle. I'm like, no, there's something. And she's like, well, I'm not signing off on it. And I'm like, well, how much would it cost to pay for one? $500. And I'm like, really? All right, I won't take a trip this weekend. This is ridiculous. So I go. 3 days later, I'm supposed to leave for the Seychelles. I see my bag. The doctor calls and he's like, you need to come in and go in. And he's like, it's cancer, but it's very tiny. You need to fly back to New York and take care of it. My mother, who is a rock star, within 48 hours got me insurance somehow. Just to cover. Because you don't come to America without insurance with cancer. And within a week, I found out it was stage 4. And I did, 3 months, and good luck. And first thing I do is call Nancy, and I'm like, I'm out, I can't do it. And she's like, I will be damned if we lose you. You're the first teacher I hired, and I will do everything I can in any way you want to keep you. And I said, well, I don't want to be the girl with cancer at school. I don't want to be the teacher with cancer. I'm an established teacher. I'm a master teacher, whatever it is, and I want to establish my reputation as that. So we can say I have stomach problems, we can say we have this, but please, I don't want anyone to know. And she supported me, right? I don't even think most of the faculty knew. Amanda came in and wound up working as a 3rd teacher. I had some surgeries, time off, and it went well. Then the second year I was at Avenues, I had a little bit of disease, but was doing pretty good. And then I went finally was up to going surfing again. I had pain in my back. And story goes on, and I finally felt I could get back on my feet because I was living with my parents for 2 years. Here I am, a big adult living in my childhood bedroom, but you can't do it alone. But I was finally at the point where I felt strong enough I could get my own apartment. Open the door to my apartment, sit down, brand new, me and my dad. The doctor calls, your cancer's back, it's in your lungs, it's in there. And I'm like, oh my God, I just moved into this apartment. And now it's, and Nancy's like, we'll do what we're gonna do. We'll support you. Let me tell you, Avenues, the love, the support, and they kept things the way I wanted it. They kept me. I was a teacher at Avenues, and I know some people found out in this, but I still could be me. And I felt like, I don't know, maybe some of you who had me don't feel that way, I hope not, but I felt like I was the teacher I have always been. Your children gave me so much joy and love and respect and moments of just, this is what life is about. And then I have this gorgeous niece and these 4 amazing nephews and this love around me, and it propelling me. And then it started to kind of come out, of course things happen, and I got a little upset because I didn't want to now fall into this category of girl with cancer who happens to be a teacher at Avenues. And I didn't want it to affect Avenues too, they have the highest caliber of teachers there, and I didn't want that. But Nancy is like, anytime I would walk into a contract meeting, she's like, the words "you quit" don't come in the room. And last year it got really complicated because it's spreading all through my spine, and they can't get it to slow down. And it was interesting enough because when I got hired, I had said to her, in a few years, I'd really love to move into a different role. Out of the classroom, work on curriculum, document things, so when these other campuses open, we have everything written, like pictures, documentation, so they can open up. You know, how do you teach sharing week? What is a sharing week? Here it is, here's the video. This is how you do it. This is how they develop language. And it was just perfect. So she was like, all right, you know, we'll have you be in all the classrooms, not as like a head teacher in one, where you can spend time in different rooms, and then you can spend some time, you know, in the office documenting everything. And then you can also help our fellows, our new fellows program, help them feel what it's like to be at the beginning. My dream job as an educator is what I'm doing now. And then it just, school started and spiral. Couldn't feel my leg. It turned pretty quick. And went to the ER, and it just, news, you know, we went from no numbers to numbers that are not very high. And but I had a backup plan, because I always have a backup plan, and I happened to last year spend a lot of time working with this company called Foundation Medicine, and they flew me around to different places to talk about the benefits of genome testing and finding out what mutations you have. I have a HER2 positive, amplified by blah, 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 that shows up in 1% of colorectal cancer. It shows up in 32% of breast. It shows up in 39 or whatever. Well, the combination of these two drugs are putting people in NED status, no evidence of disease. You know, now they say remission is like a word of the 80s or something. So all this stuff, but they won't do a trial for the 1%ers because right now it's not cost effective, right? Like, we got to make it work for the bigger ones. But they have these programs where you can apply as your doctor can apply as an individual and say, listen, this person fits the bill. Like, can we apply to have access to these drugs as a one-person clinical trial? And then that takes like 1 to 6 months to get and have that kind of time. And the process, things kind of got messed up. Things thought the process was at least 3 months in the making. When I called the other day, my name wasn't on the file yet. And I was like, what do I do? And she says, well, the woman on the phone is like, always bad pocket. I was like, oh yeah, what's that look like? And she was like, well, average is like at least 50 grand for the medicine, and then, you know, your insurance isn't going to cover the scans because you're not technically doing the medicine. Like, it just was blowing up. So it's like I had one number in the head, and then they call me back later, and now, you know, it's whatever. It's going, whatever it is. And you're just kind of like, what? So then this is the good thing though, is that if I can do 6 treatments and manage the pain, I got a pain pump put in, which is great because it doesn't make you loopy. So it's a pain pump here, and I have a button I can push, and the pain just takes care of the pain in my legs. So I don't have to worry about being groggy, and I'm groggy now because it's been quite a week, but I don't have to worry about taking pain medicine and I'm laying on the bed. Like, I can work. I can sit at home and work, and I only work 15 minutes from Avenues, so people can come, you know, have lunch with me and have a work meeting, and I can go up to Avenues and take a taxi. Like, this is gonna work, and I need to stay busy, and I need to stay focused, and I need to see these kids and be in, you know, they can Skype me. I have they're gonna make it so I can like see in the classrooms and document the stuff. So it's phenomenal. Like considering the situation, I am in the ideal situation. So after like 6 treatments, if it looks like it's working, there's a chance then the drug company will pick up from there going forward, because this is going to show success. And when we were leaving the hospital the other day, when I was first diagnosed and they told me I didn't have much time, I kind of fired my surgeon. I had a friend who was dying from melanoma, and she said, listen to me, it's your life. You walk in and do it at an interview. You ask each surgeon, what can you do for me to save my life? They get paid to do this. Ask them, they want to do this. So I changed my gear, walked in, found the best surgeon ever at Sloan. He's phenomenal. And we're outside of Sloan, cabs won't stop because I have the wheelchair, we can't. I'm just like, I'm not, oh my God, like I want all these people to believe in my miracle, I can't even get a cab. And I turn around and who's standing there is him. And he comes over to me and he goes, I don't say this much, but you're my miracle, you know that, right? He's like, every time I see you in these halls, you are my miracle. He goes, it was the hardest case, one of the hardest cases I ever did. And I see you all the time here, like stopping here, dropping off stuff, like this and that, talking to the kid. Like, you're my miracle. And I leaned forward and I go, you haven't seen nothing yet. And he goes, and I expect nothing less. And we took a picture, and he started to cry, she started to cry, I started to cry. We got in the cab and I said, that was that moment, like I knew, like this is my miracle. And I just want to thank you all for believing in it too. And I hope, and I know I can pull it off because I'm a pretty tough chick, right? I don't let many people take advantage or keep me down for long, so, it changed the world one thing at a time. And the great thing is if this works, then those people who are not in the position I'm in, they'll get a chance to do this. They will get a chance.